Okay, I want to demonstrate how to connect two routers with a serial link. And we're going to start by setting up two routers. And we're going to take the 2811. We're going to bring that up. Now, if we look at the 2811, we have a lot of open slots and we do not have any serial ports on this router at this time. So we need to add one. And I'm going to come down here and select one of these wicks that's um, for a T1. And before I can do that, I actually have to turn the router off. Let's grab that again. I'm going to slide it up here, and I'm going to place it into this slot right here, and then we'll power it back on. Okay, and we'll close this window. I now have this router, and I'm going to copy this and create another router, this one having the same configuration as my last router. Okay, so it's got that serial card in there, and we'll close that. Next, we want to connect the two. So we're going to go to our cable connections, and we're going to look at these two right here. You'll notice that one has a little symbol, a little clock symbol, and the other does not. And what this refers to is which side is the clock going to be on. If you select this first cable, then where you start the cable will have the clock. So I'm going to start with that, and we'll click on it. We'll go over to the router, click on the router, and we'll go to serial 000. Now I'm going to bring that over. I'm going to click on the next router and connect that to serial 00. Now, as I point to this connection, this cable connection, I want you to notice on the left-hand side by router 1, do you see the clock symbol over there? Okay, let me try it again so that you can see it. Do you see that clock symbol? You don't see it on the right-hand side. You see it on the left-hand side. This indicates what is going to be the DCE. The DCE is responsible for providing the clock signal. So one of these two devices has to be designated as a DCE, and I did that simply by selecting this and starting on router 1. Now, the connection isn't any different. However, the configuration is going to be slightly different, which is what we'll look at next. Okay, having made our connection between our two routers with a serial cable, the next thing that we want to do is we want to configure each router, and the configuration is going to be slightly different for the two routers. If you recall, our router 1 is going to be the DCE, and router 2 will be the DTE. So let's start with router 1. We'll say no to the configuration dialog, EN for the enable mode, config T for the global configuration mode. Then we'll go into interface S000. Give it an IP address, 192.168.1.1 with a 2, no, that was wrong. Okay, let's try that again. IP address 192.168.1.1 with a 255.255.255.0, and we're going to add in no shut, or I'm sorry, before that I want to put in clock rate and 1 million, then no shut, and that's no shut down. Okay, and that will bring that side up. So we'll minimize this, and nothing is showing just yet because now we've got to get the other side up and running. So we'll go into router 0, and if you recall, this is going to be slightly different because this is the DTE side. EN for enable, configure T, int S000, and then IP address 192.168.1.2 this time rather than 1.1. And now we don't need a clock rate on this side, and we're going to say no shut to bring this end up. Control Z to get us back to our, and now you can see that the system has recognized that the link is up on both sides. So we're in good shape. Let's minimize this. And you'll notice we've got a green light here and a green light here. Again, router 1 had a different configuration because we determined that the clock rate will be coming from this side. And you'll also notice that both of these have, down below, you'll see it has a port serial 000. And the same for router 0 has a port serial 000, and that is based on where we plugged that WIC card into the router.